I've always said, thank you, please be seated. Now, I know you needed that stretch. This is sort of the seventh inning stretch, and I think I'm the last thing between you and some chicken, right, Joe? All right, great, Sanderson chicken. Look, Blake Wilson, as we talk about leadership, has been a man who has led in economic development in the state of Mississippi in good times and in bad. And that positive attitude, that energy has never changed. Even in the 08s and 09s when things were looking a little bleak, you could count on Blake Wilson to gather you guys together and say, we're going to do better, we're going to grow, we got great things ahead for us. And even now, as Blake has had some difficult times of his own, that positive, strong attitude permeates this meeting and everything that Blake Wilson does. I can't thank him enough. Blake, thank you. And the First Lady. Now Blake is right about that. She is a rock star. You know, I have to arrange her clothes in the closet just so. And no, I'm just kidding about that. But I tell you what, as she travels this state and with her read across Mississippi, and I see the children that she interacts with, and as she has worked so hard for breast cancer awareness, and as she goes on and on working with one group after the other, I know what a difference she is making. And I'm so very proud of our First Lady. Thank you, baby. What a great team we have. You just heard from our Lieutenant Governor and Speaker. Now, you know, I use a lot of analogies in football, but let me tell you, if you're going to be the coach of the team, and that's kind of the way I feel, and you got to call plays, those are the guys you want running them. You won't Tate Reeve. You want Philip Gunn. Now, Philip Gunn used to be a quarterback, so you really want him in there. But these guys can get it done for Mississippi. And so when I travel all over the world, literally when we go to Japan or South Korea or Brazil or France, and we get to talking about economic development opportunities in our workforce in the state, these guys have laid a foundation for me. They have a winning team. Now, how are we doing? Well, you know, every time I pick the paper up, I usually go to the sports section and kind of see where all the top 25's at. I even have an app that shows where the top 25 teams are at and what they're doing, who they're playing. And so I like to have a scorecard. So we made us one. Now, this is Mississippi's scorecard. It's got one of our steel makers on the front of it, Dusty. Dusty is a steel maker with Nucor. Now, we put him on there so we could show people that Dusty exemplifies the fact that we work in Mississippi and Mississippi works for you. Now, is our scorecard good? Well, let's just break it out and take a look at what we've been able to find out. You heard the Lieutenant Governor talk about ALEC and how we're in the top 10 for economic development. Area Development Magazine has us rated number 9. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if we had a football team that was number 9 in the nation, we'd all have their t-shirts on. I'm going to say we'd have their bumper stickers, even if we didn't go there. But it gets better after that. We're number 5 for the best states in America for entrepreneurial success. Our entrepreneurs, our small businessmen and women do a better job than anybody in 45 other states. Now, I can just tell you somewhere there are chiefs of staffs of 45 different governors that are in the room, and that governor saying, how in the world did that happen? How is Mississippi number 5 in the nation? Not only is it reported in Area Development Magazine, CNN Business News reported it, so we know it must be true. Now it even gets better. We're number 3 in the nation for competitive labor cost. Number 3 in the nation. We're moving right up, aren't we? Now you talk about advanced manufacturing. I think in the next couple of weeks you'll see where we're rated as one of the top states in the nation for advanced manufacturing. How did we get there? Top 10 performance of state highway systems. Top 10, number 10 in the nation for our highway system. Now, how long have you heard people complain about the roads in Mississippi? Oh, I know we like to do that. We just say, oh, our roads are just not what other states have. Let me tell you, number 10 in the nation. So you see, next time you're in an airport and somebody says, where are you from? You can say Mississippi. And let me tell you what, we're ranking in the top 10 where it's important in economic development. And guys like Dusty that's making steel here for Nucor, that's what makes it happen. As we travel all over the world, people time and time again tell me, I understand that you're number 2 again in the best place to invest in oil and gas. I know you're in the top for the cost of energy, for production and manufacturing. We know all of that. But it's your people. It's your workforce. It's your dynamic research universities. We've got to include that in all of that. It's your workforce training within your community college. What a fantastic job they do. But it is the working men and women of Mississippi that make it happen. Working men and women that build ships, Jim, that send liberty throughout the world with those wonderful ships made in Pascagoula, Mississippi. It is men and women at the University Hospital that continue to find ways to cure and to heal and to research. It is men and women all over this state in the Mississippi Delta that understands that agriculture is still an economic driver for us and always will be. As a boy from Moorhead, Mississippi, I can tell you I'm awful proud of our agribusiness and what we're doing with it. So many great things are happening in Mississippi. And as I go about looking at the innovation that we have, you know, people somehow across this nation still have this concept and idea of Mississippi. Now, believe me, that's changing. I can tell you it's changing. But they still somehow have this idea that we're not quite prepared, and that our agrarian society is not ready for the new advanced manufacturing that we see in Mississippi. They just don't understand how we have 2 automobile manufacturing plants here in the state of Mississippi. Well, they're learning. They're learning because we innovate. That goes back to that entrepreneurial spirit, innovation. So we're going to talk a little bit about innovation. I looked it up in the dictionary. You know, it's one of those things kind of like, you know what it is when you see it. You know an innovator. You know what innovation means. You know what to innovate. But what does the dictionary say about what it says this? The introduction of something new. Oh, my goodness, isn't that us? We introduce something new every week. I can tell you, I got a garage full of shovels. Just come see them. I'm breaking ground every week. And I take the shovel with me. I know how to use one. And I got a garage full of gold ones and silver ones, and I got one that's black and gold. That was a smart guy. I got my black and gold one over there. Got my silver one. Got my Yokohama shovel. So, introduction of something new. A new idea, method, or device. A new idea, method, or device. Something new, a new way of doing things. That's us. We're the innovation state. So, we're going to talk a little bit about innovation. What does innovation mean? Well, I think it means $100 billion GDP. You heard the Lieutenant Governor talk about it earlier. For the first time in Mississippi's history, our GDP reached $100 billion. Now, we ought to celebrate that. We ought to email that to every friend, everyone that we know, $100 billion. We talk about the innovation in passing the most comprehensive education agenda in the last 30 years. Again, you heard the Lieutenant Governor talk about merit pay, public charter schools, third grade gate, early childhood learning, opportunity scholarships, all in one session. It didn't take us 10 years to do that. We innovated. We adapted. One session, we passed the most progressive, I believe, the most progressive Education Act in 30 years. Innovation is Blueprint Mississippi. What an amazing plan that we have. Anyone can take that plan, pull it out of your desk like I do, look down it and say, okay, healthcare. That's right, we're innovating healthcare. We're going to make it an economic driver, so we got to work hard to do that. It is the plan for the future. Innovation is 2 major automobile manufacturers, as I said earlier, that has produced 2.2 million vehicles since 2000. Think about that, 2.2 automobiles and trucks been manufactured in the state of Mississippi. Innovation is leadership in aerospace technology. If you haven't been to Stennis Space Center lately, you need to go. You understand that innovation at Stennis was where we tested every engine for America's first reusable spacecraft. It's where SpaceX and Rolls-Royce are now testing their jet engines and their rocket engines. It's where we put 35 different satellites into outer space, manufacturing the propulsion system by Lockheed. If you're listening to Sirius Radio, it got there from a propulsion system made at Stennis Space Center. A lot of people don't know this. That's why I get excited about it. And I will tell you, the rockets that will send man to Mars one day and return him safely to Earth will be tested at Stennis Space Center. I tell people man may go to Mars one day, but he's going to have to pass through Hancock County to get there. We got everything in the world to brag about and be innovative. Innovation is where we bring stakeholders together, as we did yesterday, for making sure that public safety works. Sheriffs, law enforcement officials, chiefs of police, judges, DAs, mental health, all of them were there so we can make sure our next session, as we look at our public safety session, is going to be something dynamic and game-changing. We cannot continue to spend the amount of money that we are today incarcerating people in the state of Mississippi. We have the second highest growth of incarceration of any state in the nation. So we're going to have to do something about it, and you're going to hear some dynamic plans in the future. Innovation is Mississippi State University Chemical Engineering and Bioenergy Spectrum Solutions, making sure that we commercialize waste-to-fuel technology. We're going back to the future. Y'all remember that movie where he just opened it up and he threw some garbage in there and took off, and he said, don't worry about where we're going. We won't need any roads. That's Mississippi. Mississippi State is going to make that happen in the future. Mississippi is innovation. Mississippi and innovation brought Yokohama Tire Company to West Point, Mississippi. They were looking at 3,000 sites in 28 states. You know where they came? Clay County, West Point, Mississippi, because we innovated. We brought new ideas, a new way of doing things. Now, I will tell you, I gave a bunch of them some cowboy boots. I'll go ahead and admit that. And they loved them, loved them. We put Yokohama tires on our vehicles when we picked it up. The night they came to the mansion and said, you know, it's Mississippi, the CEO of Yokohama Tire North America said, you were the only governor that had our tires on your vehicle. That's called innovation. That's the way that works. Thank you very much. Mississippi, we are innovators. So, because of the many innovations here in Mississippi, because of the measured success on a national level we have, number 5 for innovation and entrepreneurs, I will here proclaim November as Innovation Month in Mississippi. Now, please, go right ahead. There will be a number of events throughout the state of Mississippi. I don't have time to tell you all of them just now, but all you have to do is go MississippiInnovationEconomy.com, MSInnovationEconomy.com, all one word, and you can see the list of events that will go on throughout the state. We must continue to have our children and their children's children believe that we can do anything. There is nothing Mississippians cannot accomplish. There's no challenge too great for us. There's no opportunity that we can't grasp because we are the most innovative people in America. And so, if I could get Blake Wilson to come forward. Blake, I think you have the proclamation, and I will have the opportunity to present that, and I'm going to get out of your way. One last thing I want to tell you. This is just not a proclamation for the sake of proclamations. We mean to begin an innovation revolution in Mississippi that will carry on for generations. This is just the beginning. All right.
All right, Governor, we're going to have Mayo Flint, the past chair of MEC and the current chair of Innovate Mississippi, Tony Jeff, the president of Innovate Mississippi, Haley Fizzackerly, our current chair, Alvino Costilla, our incoming chair, all come forward along with Brent Christensen for a presentation of this important proclamation. And you all have this at your tables. You have buttons to wear. Let's hear it for Mississippi Innovation, ladies and gentlemen.
Blake, thank you. All right, let's get out there and innovate.